Steph Curry says he's the best point guard ever over Magic Johnson. He's the best all-time point guard, unlike Magic Johnson, that is what they say. Author of a fabulous career in the jersey of the Lakers, Magic Johnson has long been considered the best point guard of all time, and this unquestionably. But recently, this status is gradually eroding, and according to a renowned analyst, one superstar in particular would have grilled the politeness of the five-time champion. Years go by, but Stephen Curry continues to send very heavy for the Warriors. If his second-round debut against the Lakers was missed, the two-time MVP saved his own in the previous series against the Kings. By setting an all-time record for points in a Game 7 with 50 units, he once again proved to everyone that he was one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Between his absolutely monstrous record and his status as the best shooter to have walked a basketball court, the chef has a reinforced concrete resume, and it also concerns the hierarchy of all-time leaders. Considered for a while as the Dolphin of Magic Johnson, the situation has however changed according to analyst Colin Cowherd. According to him, the former Davidson is now seated on the throne, in front of the former Laker.
Steph went on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, was asked if he was the best point guard ever.
Yeah.
So what was your reaction to this?
All right. First of all, I respect it from Steph. I respect the honesty. I always prefer honest, even if it comes across as honest arrogance other than false humility. And this isn't like wild. This isn't crazy for him to think this. I am not at all conflicted on this, but I also see a problem with what I believe.
Okay.
Ooh.
So Magic Johnson is the greatest point guard of all time, and I do not think it is particularly close.
All right.
So, okay? And you said the resumes. I just want to quickly show a different look at the resumes.
I agree that it's Magic. All right. But for the sake of discussion, I think there's an argument for Steph. You put up the resumes, obviously Magic's is better. But the argument for Steph, one, they both changed the game. Arenas, if you listen to the podcast, said, you know, everybody's trying to be Steph now, which is true, but everybody was trying to be Magic. Penny Hardaway, 6'7" point guard who was headed toward the Hall of Fame before injury. Grant Hill, 6'8" guy that played a lot of point guard. LeBron James.
That's right.
You know, Chris Webber's even talked about how seeing Magic at 6'9" do what he did made big guys want to step away from the bat Magic had. Kareem was a number one pick and was averaging 20 points up until like 1986. Then, and I know he had Durant, but that was for 2 championships. He won 2 others without Durant. All right, Draymond Green's a number 2, second round pick. Klay Thompson's a late lottery pick. Kareem, number 1 pick. James Worthy, number 1 pick. Byron Scott, number 4 pick. All right, there's another guy, Jamal Wilkes, who's a Hall of Famer, was an 11th pick, basically where Klay was drafted, I think 12th. So Magic had more talent than Steph had for the bulk of his career. Again, I'm with Magic, but I think that would be the argument for Steph Curry. And, you know, some people might say it's pick your poison. Do you?
Yeah, like, listen, I will say this. I think we will see another Steph Curry before we see another Magic Johnson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because now everyone is trying to be Steph, and Magic, because you can't try to be 6'9". So you have to have this court vision, which, you know, there are a few things Magic had that were natural gifts that you just can't always have. Like LeBron, I think, could have been Magic, but went a different route and, you know, was kind of a combo of different great players. I think we're going to see another Steph. And that's, again, I've given Steph all the flowers I possibly can.
Is Stephen Curry now above Magic Johnson in the standings? Let's take a look at the statistics. Let's start with Magic Johnson first, since he was the first. Seasons: 13. Titles: 5. MVP: Most Valuable Player: 3. PPG: Point per game: 19.5. RPG: Rebounds per game: 7.2. APG: Assists per game: 11.2. Steph Curry: Seasons: 14. Titles: 4. MVP: Most Valuable Player: 2. PPG: Point per game: 24.6. RPG: Rebounds per game: 4.7. APG: Assists per game: 6.5. Our opinion: We think of Steph Curry and Magic if we have to compare them. If you take Steph's Finals MVP and his 50 points in Game 7, we think there's a valid argument that Steph is the best point guard of all time. He's a much better scorer than the Magic, he's a much better offensive player than him, a great ball handler. When we look at Steph Curry, it's not just that he's a great scorer, it's also that he's the best shooter of all time with all respect for Magic. Magic didn't change the game, he just had a unique gift. LeBron doesn't really change the game, he's just exceptionally talented. Steph changed the game, so if you add that component, he literally revolutionized sports, high school, college, professional basketball, international basketball with three-point shooting. If we had to put together an all-time team, we think we would pick Steph Curry.
And here's Curry for the record. It's good! And there it is!
There'll ever be another 6'9" point guard that smiles while he.
We don't know how you can look at basketball over the last 12 years without considering Steph Curry the deadliest, most dangerous and most gifted point guard of all time. It's just different. His ability to score close to the circle, with a floater, mid-range, three-pointer, his range is unlimited and, thanks to the way he plays, he still has 4 or 5 years to play, including 3 more years at the top. With 4 to 6 more years, his career will be longer than Magic Johnson's, which shows how awesome Steph is. I think Steph is the best point guard in history. In terms of scoring, it is obvious that Steph Curry seems stronger than the 5-time champion. That being said, it must be remembered here that the priorities of the two men were very different. Curry was always the first option to the mark at the Dubs, while Magic had a certain Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at his side. And of course, the former purple and gold remains far ahead of number 30 in terms of distribution. Stephen Curry or Magic Johnson? For Colin Cowherd, there is no longer to ask the question as the impact of the Warriors' point guard has been hallucinating in his eyes. More about Steph Curry versus Magic Johnson. Is Stephen Curry really a bigger point guard than Magic Johnson? This is the question that is shaking the web this week, to the point that Michael Jordan has been involved very recently. A relative of the Chief spoke in turn, and it makes react. Here is a preview of what he said in a recent video.
But before I do, I have to read you a text that I received this morning at 5:54 a.m. Good morning, sir. Although greatest of anything is always a debate, I beg to differ on greatest point guard of all time with what you said. Magic Johnson is easily the best point guard of all time. Steph Curry is very close but not in front of Magic. You must define point guard to really have a serious debate. Steph Curry is by far the best shooter of all time. Yes, his movement has created many shots for his teammates. He's a career 43% three-point shooter. But Magic Johnson invented the triple-double. Not true invented, but makes it more noticeable in terms of the impact on the game. It's a point guard stat, to be honest. Magic was the best. We can go on, but I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know you get the point. By the way, Magic has 5 NBA championships.
Wow.
That quote this morning at 5:45 was from Mr. Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Wow, how about that?
And he asked me,
Wow.
he asked me to read it on the air. He said, I'm not backing up for it. He said, I'm tired of this argument about Magic Johnson not being the best point guard in the history of the game. He is the best point guard in the history of basketball.
This is definitely a subject that annoys and divides many supporters. For the past few days, there has been a comparison between Steph Curry and Magic Johnson to determine who holds the title of the greatest in history. This debate stems from a recent statement made by the Warriors player. The case takes an astonishing turn. To the point that Michael Jordan also invited himself to the party in a rather cash SMS, in which he wants to restore the truth. This is a coach's controversial opinion on Steph Curry. Is Magic underrated given his exploits? Yes, for many fans, because what the Lakers legend has accomplished is certainly crazy. But for Curry's personal trainer, he remains the greatest in history at position 1, thanks in part to his versatility. He spoke to journalist Mark Medina. He said, "He's probably the most talented basketball player to have played the game. He has a crazy combination of his skills, his ability to make decisions and his fitness level. Over the course of his career, he has managed to improve all that and become stronger and stronger. He is a player who is excellent in all these areas." If we can only recognize Curry's talent, is his coach best placed to give an objective opinion? Maybe not. That's why some internet users have started to complain. About the networks. Here are some popular tweets about this. This debate between Magic Johnson and Steph Curry is definitely taking a rather surprising turn. Everyone gives their opinion and a trend emerges for the first mentioned, even if the leader of the Warriors is far from retirement. He still has time to make an impression with his prowess. Still, both Steph Curry and Magic Johnson deserve their respect. Subscribe to our channel to get more of our analysis and trade talks here on Sport Talk, so stay tuned till tomorrow.